Voltamos agora com Bruce Buffer, esse mito, essa lenda do MMA. E a gente tem uma pergunta aqui que não quer calar. Vai, Léo, faz a pergunta.
Bruce, você, além de ser o announcer do UFC, você é um jogador de pôquer, né?
Yeah.
Eu gostaria de entender um pouco, que você falasse da sua vida com relação ao pôquer.
Well, you know, I love poker. Poker to me is a way of life in that you need to learn how to be offensive, be defensive. It's almost like fighting. You need to know when to get knocked out, or to knock the person out, or you might get knocked out yourself. It teaches a lot of rules of life. And my dad taught me poker when I was 9 years old. He taught me how to play blackjack. He taught me how to play poker. And he taught me horse racing. And he said the only way to follow a horse is with a shovel. Don't bet on him, right? Which is good advice. I don't bet on horses. But I started playing cash games with other people when I was 14 years old. And this carried into as I got older. And in 2005, the second tournament I ever entered, I made the final table of the World Poker Tour on television, playing top professionals. So I don't consider myself professional. I consider myself semi-professional, but I play professional poker players all the time. I pretty much played every top player in the world in tournaments. And I've done quite well in tournaments. As a matter of fact, Card Player Magazine, which is the big magazine that judges and talks about poker players all over the world, I was voted the number 8 best celebrity poker player in the world. And underneath me was Ben Affleck and Jennifer Tilly and a bunch of others that were known. So it was very exciting to get that. But nothing is more exciting than pulling in a big pot. In the old days, it was knocking somebody out and walking down. Now I take all your money. So, and the best money to spend to buy things is money one. The best money to spend. So much fun.
Bruce, o que dá mais dinheiro, UFC ou pôquer?
Well, if you want to take over the course of a year, UFC, okay? But if you want to take some given nights where I played poker or I've announced UFC, poker. I've won a lot of money in poker, so.
Eu também adoro pôquer, não sou profissional, mas eu te desafio em Las Vegas, dia 30 de dezembro. Aceita?
In America, we say you're throwing the gauntlet down. So make sure you bring lots of money, okay?
Okay.
And I'll supply the cards.
Okay,
All good.
yeah.
Bruce, eu quero saber se já existiu a luta mais marcante da sua vida ou se ela ainda está por vir. Assim.
You know, at this point in my life, because I've announced thousands of fights, hundreds of shows, I've seen so many fights. So the moment I think that I've seen the greatest fight ever, 2 months later in UFC, in the Octagon, another great fight happens. So quite frankly, I've probably forgotten more than I remember, which is one of the reasons I wrote my book, It's Time, so I could write down and remember these great fights and many other things that happened in my life. But you know, you have Dan Henderson when he fought Shogun Rua, one of the greatest fights ever. The ending to the first reality show of Ultimate Fighter between Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. I can go on and on and on. There's so many great fights. So you need to appreciate each one for what it is, but then later on I know I'm going to see the next great. And this is what keeps me going, right? Because I know there's always the next level, the next level, the next level. Fun.
Pri, faz aquela pergunta lá.
Eu quero saber o que acontece quando você escuta aquela música, que você vai entrar no octógono, que você dança. Conta pra gente o que acontece.
You know, you have to remember that I'm a fan first, I'm an announcer second, and I'm a performer third. So when I'm sitting there for 6 hours, I don't stand still like other announcers. You know, they're just doing this, which is great, I'll respect. Me, I have a lion in here. I need to move, I need to get into it. I need to get in the fighters' faces. So to do that, when I'm sitting there, you know, you're waiting for the main event, and especially before the main event or before the main card starts, they play the music like you asked me, and I'm getting into it. I'm looking at the video, and I'm letting it sink in, and I'm getting into my zone that I'm about to perform. It's time to go. It's like, you know, when I was going to fight, you know, it's like you get ready for the fight, and I get hit, and go and fight. Here, I look at that to feed me. I feed off that. I feed off the energy of the crowd, and it helps me perform to my most. Gets my adrenaline going. So I'm getting in the buffer zone, you know?
Agora ele chegou.
Nós temos eventos aqui no Brasil do UFC e fora do Brasil. Qual é a diferença do Brasil e fora do Brasil? Se é igual? Como que é esse evento? E o que você acha dos lutadores brasileiros que estão no UFC hoje?
You know, I get back to the word passion, and the Brazilian people are so passionate about what they love. And I remember that when we did the first show here back in Brazil, we did the first one back in like 98, but when we came back to Brazil, and there was 15, 20,000 people in the arena, and when I went into It's Time, and they all said it with me, which has never happened anywhere in the world, and they set a precedent. And I walked out of the octagon, and Stitch, the famous cut man, came up to me and goes, "Did you hear that?" And I go, "Hear what?" He goes, "They all said it with you." Now, see, I don't know, because when I'm announcing, I focus on the fighters, I block everything out, I'm just right there. But I watched it on TV, and my heart just went like this. That's the biggest compliment that I could be paid as an announcer, you know? And now they continue to do it, or I'll speak and I'll say, "This is the main event of the end." I hear them, they're going, "This is the main event of the evening. And now," and I hear it, they're going, "And now." Like,
Yes.
wow, you know? And I could trick them and go, "And now," and I guarantee they'll go, "Now." So the Brazilian people, 10,000 sound like 30,000. 20,000 sound like 60,000. It's incredible. Compared to other areas of the world, every country, every city has its own flavor, okay? Its own, feeling, and they all get into it. But I will say that Brazil is the most, and I get back to my favorite word, the most passionate group of fans I have ever seen. I mean, when I walk out at the beginning of a show, and the arena, they stand up because they're filled up, and they're going crazy, looking at me, and I'm going, "Me?"
Yes.
They love their UFC. They love their MMA. And I love them for it. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. If you could stand beside me in the octagon, right, and feel what I feel, because here I am, the crowd, all that energy is going into there. And I've got to give all my energy back to them. It's like give, take. I love it. I love it. Oh, and the Brazilian athletes, I've had the pleasure of knowing many, many Brazilian athletes who have moved to America. I'm friends with them in America, like Lyoto Machida, and with these great athletes, the beautiful stories, the backstories to Brazilian athletes, because many of them, if not all of them, do not come from rich families. They come from poor families many times. And for them to break into become great champions or great fighters, to make the money they so justly deserve, to take care of their family, and to make something out of themselves. I love seeing people be successful. I don't care if you're the cameraman or you're the fighter, but if you pick a path in life, your job, as my job is, to do the best you can do on that path, to be the best you can be. So when I see people fulfill their goals and their dreams, it makes me very, very happy. I like seeing everybody around me happy, make money, be fulfilled. I don't think about myself, because I know if it happens all around me, karmically, I'm a big karma person, comprende karma?
Yeah.
So I feel it all comes back to me, which it has. I'm very happy.
A gente percebe que você fala sobre o MMA com uma certa paixão, né? Brilha os seus olhos para falar. E eu queria saber se você tem alguma dica ou alguma sugestão para o crescimento do MMA, o que você pensa sobre isso, assim?
There's a saying in life, you never change the wheel that's turning, right? The UFC wheel is turning very strong. But recently, new ownership came into the UFC. The UFC in America sold for the highest price ever paid for a sports franchise of $4.2 billion. Okay, and the new owners happen to own the most powerful, successful media and agencies in the world, which is Endeavor and William Morris. They have contacts all over the world. So you're not going to see a big change in the way the UFC shows are happening. You're going to see more fighters, you're going to see all of that, but they're going to be working behind the scenes to make it even more successful by expanding the ability for the public to view and appreciate UFC and mixed martial arts by making new TV deals all over the world. In China, multiple TV sets, billions of TV sets, Europe, everything. They're working on these right now. They just brought in 22 top celebrities in America, and they allowed them to become minority owners of the UFC. Ben Affleck, Mark Wahlberg, Tom Brady, Chef Graham, all these people. What does that do for the sport? Well, now you have people in the different demographics of sports and entertainment that are considered owners. that will now offer their free publicity and their services to all of their sphere of influence to further expand the company. That was the first move they made, which was brilliant. So right now, what we can do as individuals is appreciate the sport, talk about the sport, understand the sport, and admire and praise these great athletes, both men and women, that are fighting and putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the octagon floor. So everything stays the same, but you're going to see a lot of growth in the next 5 years, more than ever, because of the powerful minds now that own the UFC. We as fans, stay fans, be the best fan you can be. That's really all you need to do, most definitely. And we as announcers, fighters, we need to be role models to the young fans watching, because the youth of Brazil, the youth of America, the youth of the world is the future fans of the UFC that will continue to keep it to grow. So we need to be role models, and we need to show respect and be the best we can be so that the youth can imitate us, or not imitate, or emulate us and learn with us. I'm all about respect and being class, all class. That's my feeling.
Eu te conheço há algum tempo, né, alguns anos, e em qualquer lugar do mundo que eu vá no UFC, eu sempre vejo o carinho que você tem com todo mundo. Seja para tirar foto, para até cantar parabéns na mesa das pessoas, você já foi. Eu admiro demais, agradeço e fico muito feliz com a pessoa que você é. Você transmite para a gente uma felicidade muito grande de estar com você.
Well, muito obrigado. Thank you. First off, I remember 20 years ago walking through a hotel, walking down the streets, and it was like crickets. Nobody said anything, nobody recognized me, and the same true of the fighters. The fans are spending hard-earned money to buy tickets, to buy a T-shirt, to buy a pay-per-view. We owe the fans the respect that if they come to us and respectfully ask for an autograph or a picture, okay, they deserve it. I will sign 1,000 autographs probably, or take 1,000 autographs and pictures probably tomorrow before the show. That's my job. I make the money I make, and I enjoy the life I enjoy because of the fans. They are what keep us alive. Never forget where you come from. I never forgot where I came from, and I never will. So they deserve everything. Except when they follow me into the men's room and they try to take pictures of me in the men's room. There's certain man's law. That's not right. That's not right. Outside of that, everything's great.
Muito bom. E assim, então, estou babando aqui, emocionada. A gente acaba o nosso primeiro programa, nosso primeiro episódio do HugsTeam. E a gente só tem que agradecer muito, né, Léo? Que a gente tá mó feliz, sem palavras. Muito obrigada. Thank you very much, Bruce. Muito obrigada.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado.
It's time.
Now.
It's time! And it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muito bom.